Hello guys, TavHD here and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be discussing a problem that I have, and that problem is that I've got too many PowerBooks. There are two 17-inch PowerBooks, there is two more 17-inch PowerBooks, and there is two more 17-inch PowerBooks. I've also got a box full of PowerBooks here as well. That label is no longer correct, but there is a lot of PowerBooks in there too. I also have some more up here as well. I actually don't know how many are up there, but I guess we're going to find out. So today we're going to take a look at each and every PowerBook I've got and discuss what my plans are, because I've said I'm going to do things with PowerBooks on the channel, and quite frankly I've lost track of what I'm meant to be doing and with what machine. So this will be a bit of a recap. So let's start with the PowerBooks that are in the boxes. Alright, so we're going to start off with this box. This is a titanium PowerBook box. This is a later titanium PowerBook box, and you can tell because of the font on the front. My other titanium PowerBook box has the older font, which you will see in a moment. Now this box is quite heavy, so I'm guessing there is multiple machines in here. I think I have 3 titanium PowerBooks, so I'm guessing 2 of them are in this box, and yes, I am correct. This first one is incredibly ropey. I'll put it off to the side. And secondly is another one which I think is kind of ropey but not as bad, and here that is. So I'll now move the box and we can take a look at those 2 machines individually. Okay, so first up is this one, which of course doesn't look particularly nice. It's very scuffed, it's missing parts of its hinge, it's got no battery, and if we open this up I think we'll be able to see a little bit more about what's wrong with this machine. That's if I can open it. Yep. And well, that's not good, is it? If you can't tell, the screen is only attached at one side and it's incredibly just floppy, and yeah, that happens and it's all falling apart. It's been taped together for some reason. Keyboard's not really attached, and yeah, this thing cost me £1, I believe. So I got a laptop for £1, which I guess is pretty cool, but yeah, it's not in the best condition. I did make a video about this, can't remember if it booted. There was definitely some weird graphical problems, I can't remember what happened further than that. But in terms of a plan for this machine, I don't have any plans. It's beyond restoration. It's probably beyond being used for parts because most of it's absolutely ropey. The logic board I'm guessing might be good, although I'm not too sure. So there are no plans for this machine, and it'll probably just sit in the box for the rest of time just as an extra PowerBook, because for some reason I really like PowerBooks. So let's now take a look at the other one that was in this box. I believe this one was quite cheap as well, although I don't recall how much it cost. Pretty sure this one does do something. It's got an incredibly stiff hinge. The other one was too floppy. This one is actually too stiff. Missing a couple of keys off the keyboard, but overall it's in a lot better condition. In fact, I think this is probably the nicest condition one I've got. The other one I have is quite good, but I'm not sure if it's better than this. So I think the plan was to combine bits of this with the other one that I've got that I haven't shown you yet and make a nice one, although I think it's quite nice just having 2 functional ones. If this one works, I don't actually remember. So let's see. I'll plug it in, let's see if this one does anything. So let's see if this one boots up. I cannot remember, so let's press the power button. It bongs. Alright, so it has booted up. The screen is actually very dim, although that is to be expected. They do take a while to get up to brightness. But I do now remember this machine. It does boot, and it has what looks to be a pretty fresh install, but nothing really opens. It looks like everything's been deleted off it, which is a bit weird. I think the plan was to do a fresh install on here. Never got round to that, so that can be something that I add to my list of things to do. Now, lots of my more recent acquisitions in terms of PowerBooks, I've written labels on them saying what the specs are and what works and what doesn't. Didn't do that for these PowerBooks, so once I've done filming this, I'll write a label saying what needs to be done for this one, but it does indeed work. So let's now turn it off, shut it down, and move on to the next one. Pretty impressed that this one works. I didn't remember that it did. Okay, so this is the other titanium PowerBook box I was talking about. You can see it's older because it has the older style font on it, and I believe this will have my third and final titanium PowerBook in it. This is the first titanium PowerBook that I bought, and yes, it is indeed in here. So let's now take a quick look at it. So here it is. It's in quite decent condition. There is some scratches and a couple of dents on the top, but the bottom is in quite nice condition. I believe this is a third-party battery, and it has actually got jammed. I can't get it out, which is kind of unfortunate. But as I said, this was the first one I've got. I've had it for probably going on for 1.5 years now, fully working apart from the speakers. As far as I tested it, that's the only thing that didn't work. But inside, this thing is just so clean. Like, compared to the others, this is actually the nicest one. Now that I've looked at it again, yeah, this is the nicest. It's got some paint chipping on it there, and there is some damage on the side. But in terms of just the palm rest and the keyboard, this is the nicest one I've got. I believe this one cost about £50, which is the most expensive one that I bought, but it is the nicest. And this one does work, as I said, just not the speakers. So yeah, this is one that I will definitely be keeping, and maybe I'll mix it up with one of the others to get a nicer condition one, although I don't think I'll bother because this one's pretty decent as it is. And if it was immaculate, I'd be too scared to use it anyway. And I quite like the conditions, and it shows that it's used but not like really ropey and falling apart like the £1 one. So yeah, this is one that I'll probably just not do much with, and I'll just keep it around as my nice PowerBook G4 Titanium, because it is quite a nice one. Maybe if I can get the speakers working, that'll be good, but it's not on my priority list. This one is just a nice one to have around. So here's the next one, and this is the first of my aluminium ones. This one is in a box, not its original box, just one I got off eBay. It's incredibly dusty just from having it on my top shelf, so apologies for that. I believe the 15-inch PowerBook in here is a completely dead one. I just put a random one in this box. I couldn't choose like a specific one, but I just picked a random one to put in here. So this isn't a sort of significant PowerBook in any way, but I just put it in here. Yeah, this is one which I did write a label on, and the label says, if you can read that, no boot, HDD and RAM. So this does not boot, but it has a hard drive and RAM, or at least it did. I might have taken them out, so that is something I will have to check. It's important to keep these labels up to date so I know exactly what's going on. So let's now check to see if that label is correct. And this is a good box because it came with its original inserts, which is cool. This box, about 15 quid on eBay. I'm always looking out for more PowerBook boxes. I've got a search saved in so it notifies me when any more are listed. So if anyone's got any old PowerBook boxes, please do let me know. I will be interested in acquiring them. So now let's take a look if that label was correct. Alright, so I've just checked and this does indeed have hard drive and RAM, so that sticker is correct. And it is also correct that it does not boot. I've just tried powering it up and it just loads and loads and loads and nothing ever happens. And it's also got some pretty bad graphical artifacting that I need to write down as well. And this is actually the £10 PowerBook. I believe I called it that for a while. This is the one that I did target disk mode with and got it to boot, but it just doesn't boot off its internal drive for whatever reason. So I need to write all this down so I can remember. So I'm going to go find my labels and a pen and just write it down now so I don't forget. Okay, so I've now written 2 new labels: £10 PowerBook, no boot, just swirls, and that it has HDD and RAM and also GPU issues. So now I know exactly which machine this is, so I can put it back in the box. And let's look at the next one. Okay, so this is my final boxed PowerBook, and this one is in its original box. This is a 12-inch PowerBook. I'm not even going to take it out of the box because I already know what it is. This has a 1 GHz G4 processor, 256 megabytes of RAM and a 40 gig hard drive. And I know that because it says it on the top of the box. This is in near immaculate condition. One owner from new, original box. Got this for I think £100 and something, like not cheap, but not unreasonable for what it is. Never use it, I just keep it in its box, and I'm sure that it is appreciating in value every day that it's just sitting here not getting used. I would like to do some things with it in the future, but for now it just sits. I've had it for maybe a year and a half. I've made a couple videos including it, and I hope to get it in more videos in the future, but it spends most of its time just on my shelf looking pretty in its original box. And now I'm going to go put it back up there, and let's take a look at some more PowerBooks which are not boxed. And I think we'll start off with my other 12-inch PowerBooks that I acquired a couple of months back. Okay, so here are my other three 12-inch PowerBooks. 1, 2, 3. These were the three that I acquired together and made a video about back in August or September time, I think. And these ones I did actually label. So this top one is a 1 gigahertz with a possible 256 megabytes of RAM. I couldn't check because there is a void sticker over the bottom panel. I will take a look at some point, but not now, because that's not really important. I either got no drive or a dead drive. If I remember correctly, it wouldn't boot, and I couldn't really hear the drive, so it's either dead or not in there at all. So that is that machine. Not really much to say because I've already explained it all on that label. Next up, this was the best one of the three PowerBooks that I got. It's an 867 megahertz. So it's a lower spec one than the other one, but it's got more RAM, 640 megs, and its hard drive has both Tiger and Leopard on it. I was very excited to see this one, and it is one that I will hopefully get some use out of in the future. I'd like to explore both of those OSs a bit more, and maybe we can use target disk mode to look at these OSs on other machines as well. Or maybe I can just take the drive out and put it in another machine. I'm not too sure yet. It's in quite rough condition, but it is the nicest one from the lot just because of that drive, and it does work flawlessly, which is always good. Now, one which does not work flawlessly is this one. It's quite scraped, as you can probably see. It's a 1 gigahertz with no RAM, no /dead drive, and no boot/dead. Quite dramatic there, writing dead, but at least it gets across what I want to say. So this one does absolutely nothing, no power at all. And this is one of the ones with a foreign keyboard, which you might be able to see. So cool keyboard. It's actually really grubby. I don't want to touch it. Well, yeah, it's completely dead, so I'm probably not going to do anything with it. It'll probably just sit in a box. Okay, so here are two more PowerBooks. These are both 15 inches, and these are the two which got destroyed in shipping probably about 1.5 years ago now. I got a full refund, so I got both of these for free. This top one is probably the one in the nicest condition, still a bit bent on some of the corners, but yeah, it's honestly not too bad. And this one, according to the label, boots into Leopard. It's got 1 gig of RAM and also a 1 gigahertz processor, so that is that. And the other one here has no hard drive and no RAM, so this is a non-starter, although it does have a battery in it. Not sure if that works. I should probably take it out in case it expands, but yeah, as you can see, this is one of the ropey ones looking at that corner. Yeah, this is the one with the dented charge port, which was a difficult one to plug in, and even though I did plug it in, there was no real point because no hard drive and no RAM. Looking at the inside, bit dirty, but yeah, not too bad to be honest. Just a shame that they both got smashed in shipping, but yeah, that is those two machines. One works, the other one does not. So next up is the first Mac I ever bought. This is a 1.67 gigahertz G4 17-inch PowerBook. It's one of the late 2005 top spec ones, and it's got a glossy screen on it. I bought it for very cheap with a smashed screen, got it replaced with this awful nasty screen. The whole thing's floppy and it makes weird noises, but it does work, and I've had it going on for 8 years now. I do want to do some things to it because the hinge doesn't really fit properly. It's been super glued together in the past, and it is in really good condition apart from all that, and I would like to do stuff with it. It smells bad, kind of like burnt cars and also sweaty people. But all PowerBooks I've found kind of smell like sweat. Like literally all the ones I've ever had have smelt kind of the same, a bit grim and stinky. But that's kind of off topic. But yeah, this is a 1.67 late 2005 one. Very cool machine. Would like to get an appropriate screen for it. And I may actually have one on another machine, which may be going on this at some point. It just depends what happens, but we'll discuss that once we get to that machine. So yeah, this is a machine I won't ever get rid of, but I would like to get it in a bit nicer condition, and hopefully that'll happen at some point very, very soon. Okay, so this is my other 1.67 GHz late 2005 machine. This is one of the 5 17-inch PowerBooks I got at the same time as the 3 12-inch PowerBooks. And according to my label here, you can see this is an A1139. That is indeed the model that is a 1.67 and with the high-res screen that the other machine should have. Now this one does work absolutely fine apart from potential GPU artifacting. So if this thing is dead, this screen will be going on my other one, so this will require further investigation in the future. But it is a very, very nice one, running Tiger, 2 gigs of RAM and a 250GB hard drive. Not bad at all. Okay, so carrying on the theme of 17-inch PowerBooks, this is the next one, and the other 3 that I'm going to show you are also 17 inches too. These are all ones that I bought as part of that job lot. And this one does have the specs written on it because I was clever and remembered to write things down. So this is 1 GHz, hard drive size unknown, 512 megabytes of RAM, it boots, it's password locked, and the keyboard and trackpad don't work. So this does appear to be a functioning device, but it's got a password on it. So that means that it does indeed get to the OS, but the keyboard and trackpad do not work. They might just simply be unplugged. It's not something I have looked into, but in the future we of course will do. It's in pretty decent condition, I think. It's a bit floppy in the hinge department, but a lot of these days might just need tightening. I'm guessing it's been apart at some point. Maybe that's why the keyboard and trackpad don't work. Or maybe it was taken apart to try and get them working and it's just been left a bit loose. It is difficult to know. Well, this is a British keyboard layout. In here is in pretty good condition. There's a few scratches, but nothing too bad. The lid is not in the best condition, to be honest. Not sure if you can see it on camera, but it does have a lot of scratching on it. It doesn't really seem to be showing up, but it is an issue. And this one is kind of falling apart because I haven't put the screws back in it, but you can see that this is where I verified that it has RAM because the door fell off. So that is pretty cool. So let's just slide that back on. And I remember this one. This is one that has the etching on the bottom saying that it's from Westminster Youth Service. Not exactly sure what that is, I couldn't find out, but looking on the bottom here I can see that this is a 2003 model as it says up there, not that you can see that, and it is also missing a few screws confirming that it has indeed been apart. So this one is working, just needs a bit of attention, probably a software reset just to get past the password lock because I don't know the password, and also it needs the trackpad and keyboard looking at, so that is something we can do in the future. So let's move on to the next one. Alright, so this next one is a bit of a ropey one. It's got scratches and dents on the lid as well as some sticky residue. That'll come off with my sticky stuff remover, but of course none of the scratches and dents will. And the specs and things are at the bottom of this one too. You can really see that dent up there. That's pretty nasty. This is an A1107 1.67, hard drive unknown, RAM unknown, no power and cracked display. So this one doesn't boot up and the screen is smashed, so that's pretty fun. So I'm guessing dead logic board, dead display. This one's probably pretty useless. I guess we could try and find out the RAM by taking this flap off. Is it really worth it right now? Probably not, but I'm going to do it anyway just for something to do. So let's just take it off. It says that it should have 512 megabytes in it, but whether it does or not, I don't know. And this is not a helpful screwdriver. it's too big, so I'll have to get a smaller one. Okay, so let's unscrew this and see if it has any RAM in it at all, because who knows, we should now, yep, just be able to take that off, and it has no RAM. So that's fun. I could tell it's been opened because there are screws missing and screws that aren't screwed in all the way, which is always fun. So let's actually screw that one back in now just to be helpful. But yeah, no RAM in this, so I guess I can update the label if I want to, but let's just put that panel back on. If it will go back on, please go back on. So let's open this one just to become familiar with the condition inside, and yeah, inside this is pretty much immaculate looking. UK keyboard, feeling nice, pretty much no wear on this at all, which is good to see, but you can probably see the damage to the display just about there, and down there too. Not sure if you can see that one, but yeah, this is definitely a smashed display, so I can't even use like the screen as a part. It's floppy as well, which isn't great. So not only is the screen smashed, the lid is dented, scratched and scuffed, so that's completely not a useful part. Logic board appears to not work, hence why it doesn't boot. That's not helpful. Don't know if there's a hard drive in here. There's no RAM in it. I'm guessing the only useful part would be the top case because it's in quite good condition, so maybe one of the other machines could benefit from this, although I guess that's something to look at in the future. So this machine is solely a parts machine, and there's probably not that many helpful parts anyway. So yeah, this one will probably never live again, but I suppose it is good to have a few parts machines lying about just to come in handy at some point. So now I'll go grab the next machine. Alright, so here is the next one. This has a 1.67 gigahertz processor yet again, 1 gigabyte of RAM, 60 gigabyte hard drive, and this one does boot. It's just slow at booting, and it has GPU artifacts. Condition wise, it's got a few scratches on it, but honestly nothing too bad. On the bottom, the specs are there as well. It says it has a 100 gigabyte hard drive, but it doesn't, so someone has changed that for whatever reason. Let's open this one up, if it will open. Yep, there we are. This is probably one of the stiffer hinges that I've got. Still a bit floppy, but it does stay pretty much where you put it, so that is good. Condition wise, honestly, not too bad. Keyboard is another UK keyboard, no wear on it, so that is nice. This one does boot up, just has some graphical artifacting. Whether that is something we can fix, I honestly don't know. But yeah, this one I'm guessing, if nothing else, could be used for like parts, apart from the logic board, because the screen looks good. It does boot, I don't know. So it's got a hard drive in it, it's got RAM. I'm guessing those would be useful if nothing else, but hopefully this one will continue working, because the artifacting I believe wasn't too bad on this one. But again, something to look at in the future. I feel like that's something I'm saying a lot in this video, something to look at in the future, and we will definitely take a look at each one of these machines in detail in the future. This video is just sort of an overview and a reminder of all the PowerBooks that I've got. So this one hopefully will continue working, because it's honestly not too bad, and we only have one more PowerBook to look at now, so I'll go and get that one. So this is a fun way to end it, with a completely dead one. 1.67 gigahertz, RAM unknown, hard drive unknown, GPU dead, and no power / dead. I remember the previous owner put some labels on here as well saying things. He put GPU dead on it, I remember that, and I put no power because I can't get it to boot, so he must have worked out somehow that the GPU's dead, and pretty much the whole thing is dead. I can take the flap off right now to work out the RAM. The reason I didn't previously do that is because it would have broken the void stickers, but I don't really care about those anymore. So we might as well just rip this off just to work out if it does have any RAM in it at all. It should have 512 megabytes according to the sticker, but let's see if that is correct. I'm guessing probably not. Yep, no RAM at all. Someone has taken the RAM, but honestly I don't blame them. So I can now update the label to say that it actually has no RAM, so that is cool. and now I shall screw this thing back down. So that is the flap back on. Looking at the condition, this one also has a dent in it, a few scratches. I don't know if the display works because the thing doesn't boot. I'm guessing that it probably could be used as a spare part if necessary. This is another UK one inside here. Bit scuffed but nothing too bad. Trackpad buttons a bit loose, but that can probably just be tightened. But yeah, honestly it doesn't look too bad. The screen's dirty but it probably works. I can't see any cracks or anything like that. So yeah, I'm guessing this will probably be another part machine, although not RAM because someone's already taken that. Hard drive maybe, there might not even be one in here. I'm guessing this will just be like display and top case if necessary. But yeah, this one will probably never live again. So I've now just updated the labels on the two that I've now discovered have no RAMs. I've just written none on it. I've done it to the other one as well. And that will now be the end of this video. As I've already said, this was just a sort of reminder and refresher of all the PowerBooks that I've got. This was a reminder for me as well as for all of you because I had honestly lost track. And I don't even know how many I've got, but I will put that up on screen now for if you are interested. Most of them should be able to live another day, but a couple of them like this one will solely be for parts. But yeah, this was good just for me to work out which ones I've got and what I can do with them. So as I said, they will all be featured on the channel again, hopefully soon, and we should be able to do some cool stuff with them. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully it was interesting in some way. I will see you in the next one, which might be PowerBook related, probably Mac related, but I guess we will see. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.